Hi, I'm Mr. McMillan and welcome to this 5-minute revision tutorial on Edexcel GCSE Religious Studies, Unit 10.4, Living the Christian Life. The first section of this unit is about vocation. The word vocation means a calling from God. For Christians, to have a vocation means to have a call from God to do something specific with your life. A Christian's vocation can be demonstrated in a number of different ways. Some Christians feel that their vocation is to live the religious life. Religious life refers to those people who choose to become a monk or a nun. Monks and nuns follow their vocation by taking the evangelical counsels. These are 3 vows or promises based on the life of Jesus. They are a vow of poverty, chastity, and obedience. Some Christian men feel that their vocation is to receive holy orders. Holy orders is the name given to the sacraments where a man is ordained to the position of a deacon, priest, or bishop. Although married men can become deacons, only men who are single can be ordained priests or bishops. The majority of Christians do not feel that their vocation is to the priesthood or to the religious life. Instead, the majority of the laity, which means ordinary Christians, follow their vocation through their choice of career or family situation. For example, many Christians feel called to the caring professions, such as doctors, nurses or care workers, or to the world of education, for example, a teacher. The Church describes marriage as a vocation, and for some people the most important vocation is simply to be a good husband, wife or parent. Some Christians follow their vocation by taking on a specific responsibility within their local parish, such as a confirmation catechist or a Eucharistic minister. Some Christians feel it is their vocation to work for social and community cohesion. Although all Christians have a responsibility to show love for their neighbour, some make this their career or ministry. For example, the Catholic Association for Racial Justice is an organisation of people who aim to promote racial harmony and community cohesion. Finally, some Christians feel it is their vocation to specifically work to relieve poverty and suffering in the UK. Jesus taught through the parable of the sheep and goats that Christians should feed the hungry and look after the lonely and sick. Many Catholics follow this vocation by working as part of their local St. Vincent de Paul Society. The St. Vincent de Paul Society, or SVP for short, is a Catholic organisation that works to meet local needs, such as housing the homeless, visiting the sick and elderly, and providing holiday camps for young carers or those from disadvantaged backgrounds. The second half of this unit is on how Christians use parts of the Bible as a guide for living. The 10 Commandments given to Moses by God are still used by Christians today as a guide for living. The Council of Trent said that following the commandments was obligatory for Christians. The Catechism says, the 10 Commandments state what is required in the love of God and love of neighbour. The first 3 concern love of God, and the other 7 love of neighbour. The Sermon on the Mount is a collection of teachings from Jesus which can be found in Matthew's Gospel, chapters 5 to 7. For the purpose of the exam, Edexcel split the Sermon on the Mount into 4 themes. Firstly, Jesus reinterprets the Law of Moses. In the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus gives his interpretation of the Law of Moses, which had been handed down as part of the Jewish faith. Jesus said, "Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them." Jesus gives numerous examples of Old Testament laws and then refines the teachings for his followers. For example, Jesus said, "You have heard that it was said, 'You shall not commit adultery.' But I say to you that everyone who looks at a woman with lustful intent has already committed adultery with her in his heart." Jesus expects his followers to follow an even higher standard of morality. Secondly, displaying religion. Jesus warns his followers against big public shows of their religion to get attention. He tells his followers, "You must not be like the hypocrites, for they love to stand and pray in the synagogues and at the street corners, that they may be seen by others." Instead, Jesus encourages private piety. "But when you pray, go into your room and shut the door and pray to your Father in secret, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you." Thirdly, money. Jesus warns his followers against the love of money. He says, "Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy and where thieves break in and steal, but store up for yourselves treasures in heaven." This means Christians should not seek worldly wealth, but should concentrate on spiritual matters. As Jesus clearly says, you cannot serve both God and money. Finally, the Golden Rule. Jesus provides his followers with the Golden Rule, which says, "So whatever you wish that others would do to you, do also to them." In other words, treat others the way you want to be treated. Jesus uses the example of judgment to make his point. Do not judge, or you too will be judged. For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged. Thanks for watching. I've been Mr. McMillan.